Hey, did you know that turkey can hear one another upwards of like a mile away? Obviously, when the conditions are right, if it's not a real windy day, it's not driving rain and such, and they're and depending on where they may be standing in their environment, they can hear each other upwards of like a mile away. A hen could be yelping over here, a long distance away, upwards of a mile away, and the gobbler a mile away from her over this way could hear her like a mile away. Their hearing is that exceptional. So obviously the conditions got to be right. You need to not have a real high winds. It can't be a real windy day, driving rains and such. It's got to be like a bluebird day. And they need to be in an area where they can hear the gobbler a mile away, where the gobbler can hear that hen from a mile away. Obviously, let's say the hen's down in a holler, down in like a ravine with ridges on either side of her, and the gobbler is a mile away in another ravine. They're not going to hear one another as well as they would if that hen was up on the ridge and the gobbler was up on the ridge a mile away on another ridge, and that hen was yelping. Then that gobbler could hear that hen nearly a mile away. That's incredible. Their hearing is that good. I just wanted to share that really cool fact with all of you, opening up this episode. I don't know if you know this, but what kills turkey the most is patience. Patience wins all, I've always said. When it comes to turkey hunting, that a hunter really needs to develop. If they don't already have good patience, the hunter needs to learn patience really quickly before going into turkey hunting. Turkey hunting will whip your butt. A true hunter, a real down to earth, real turkey hunter, pushing to the very end, right from the day one to the very last day, not giving up after the 2 weeks. There's those that that hunt turkey, yeah. They kind of wean. They might shoot one here or there. They might not shoot any. They might not even tag out, but they kind of give up 2 weeks in when there's still 2 weeks left of the season. A lot of turkey hunters give up too easily. Just call it quits. But the real down-to-earth, die-hard turkey hunter will not give up right to the nitty-gritty end. And it's those type of turkey hunters that have developed and learned patience over time. Patience wins all, man. So when you're going into the turkey woods this spring and doing your covert calling to that light hen yelping, some few clucks, make some purring, a little 3-4 note light yelping, that covert calling, if you will. That's just that real light call. You only need to do that like one sequence. And a lot of times the gobbler will be right there within a half hour. That gobbler, now remember what I said in the beginning of this episode. Turkey can hear one another upwards of a mile away when the conditions are right. So there's a good chance that that light covert calling, that light calling you're doing, that a gobbler, mature tom turkey had heard that nearly a mile away from where you're sitting. And within 20, 30, 40 plus minutes, upwards of an hour, that gobbler could be right there within several feet of where you're sitting. And so that's where your patience comes in, where patience wins all. A lot of times when you're thinking that all is lost, that nothing's going to show, or that no gobbler heard you calling, and you're ready to pack up, call it quits and leave, just muster the courage and the willpower to sit it out just 15, 20, 30 more minutes before you do leave. It will shock you how many times just being patient that little bit longer, that 15, 20 minutes, even a little longer, that one will show. Or all of a sudden you'll hear the I can't even imitate it. I stink at that. I'm trying to imitate the drumming, that guttural like drumming sound that mature tom will make, and the wing tips dragging the ground, and the tail fanning out, and that drumming. A lot of times when you're sitting there quiet for another 20, 30 plus minutes, they come in silently. And that's a lot of times that's what's happening is these toms, these gobblers, they're coming in silently. And it happens time and time again to a lot of these turkey hunters. They give up too soon and they stand up. And as soon as they stand up, they hear pop, and they look in the woods beyond like 4 yards away, and that neck is held high, and that tom is running away, putting every step as he's running away. And he was coming in silently. He had no need to gobble and stuff. He knew right where that hen was. You were the hen. You were making that light 3-4 note yelping, a little bit of clucking and purr mixed in there, and then being quiet. You only need to do like one call in sequence of some. And a lot of times it's all you need to do, and just put your calls down and just wait it out. Be patient for nearly an hour. A lot of hunters will give up 20, 30 minutes in, pack up, stand up, and that's when they're spooking that tom as he was coming in silently. But if you just sit tight, stay there, remain patient, and still don't move, don't even flick a finger, the turkey can see you blink and flick a finger upwards of 100 yards away, dude. So do not get busted moving. Stay still, quiet. A lot of times it's good to have like a ghost blind or be in a blind in these situations where you're just sitting it out and being patient and waiting, doing that like covert calling and stuff, and just being patient and waiting. So a blind will help hide all those movements. A lot of times you got an itch or something, you can't help it, and you gotta get that itch. But a lot of times that's when you bust that gobbler as he was coming in silently. So you've got to muster up the courage and the willpower and develop that patience very quickly. Just sit it out another 20, 30 plus minutes longer. He's coming in silently. And then before long, all of a sudden you hear that drumming and the wingtips dragging and the tail spreading out, and he's coming in. And that's when you've got to get your gun. You got to be all ready and still and motionless and wait for your shot opportunity. So this spring, when you get out there after them tom, turkey, after those big mature gobblers, you just got to remember, don't give up too soon. If you're someone that does not have that patience, you've got to develop it and learn patience mighty quick, because turkey season's here. It's opening week of turkey season here in Maine, and all you turkey hunters out there, you need to have that patience. Just 9 times out of 10, that gobbler is shutting up. You heard him gobbling out there 200, 300 yards away. The last time you heard him gobble was quite, several hundred yards away. And that, a lot of times that's discouraging for hunters. They think all is lost. They didn't hear him, and that they want to call again. By all means, do not call. He's coming in silently. A lot of times you call again. Sometimes that extra calling is too loud, and he knows right where you were anyway. He heard you calling upwards of a mile away anyway. That's another crazy fact about wild turkey, is when the gobbler hears a hen yelping nearly a mile away, within 30, 40 minutes, he could be within several feet of where she was standing when she yelped 40 minutes earlier. They can hone right in on the exact location, the exact spot where that hen was yelping 30, 40 minutes earlier. And he's coming in silently, I assure you. He already knows where you are, because you did that hen calling. He heard you, and he pinpoint, honed in on your exact whereabouts, your location. He's coming. You just got to be patient. That 20, 30 extra minutes, I can assure you it's going to pay off for you in the end. Just trust me. Patience wins all. So remember that going into your turkey hunt this spring. You got this, man. Just be patient. He'll come. I can't count how many times I've heard time and time again that turkey hunters say that they got busted because they stood up a little too soon, and they were walking out, and there he was, and they had never even knew he was there. That's because these big mature 3, 4, 5+ year old mature tom turkey, they don't over vocalize. It's them younger ones, them 1.5, them Jakes, 2, maybe 3-year-olds, but definitely your 2.5-year-olds. They're over vocalizing vocalizing constantly. They're extremely over vocalized in turkey, and it's them ones that always get shot first in the season. So a lot of your turkey hunters, they give up after the first 2 weeks because they tag out on the jakes and the 2.5-year-olds, but it leaves you them big mature 3.5, 4, 5, 6+ year old tom turkey out there that were smarter than them 2.5-year-olds, that knew to be tight beaked, to not over vocalize, not over gobble. And it's those ones that come in silently, looking and listening for that scratch, the three, the hoo, 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 and the pecking of the scratching of the hen. And they're listening for that light covert calling of the hen. So if you do call again after hearing the last gobble, outwards maybe a couple 100 yards away, just remember to call like just the 2-3 note yelp. That's all you need to do, just maybe one more time, but really soft, maybe 20-30% of the volume of a loud call that you'd make with a box call to maybe locate a gobbler. Because you want it to be like 20-30% volume on that call, maybe even less than that. Just one last time but only do it if you heard him gobble like maybe 100 yards away from your position. Then maybe just light covert call one last time, and I assure you, he's coming. He's on his way. He just because he didn't respond to you doesn't mean that. A lot of times, why turkey, the gobbler, is not gobbling is because he's moving. It's when they stand still and they fan out, they're standing there is when they'll shot gobble or they'll gobble. But just because you didn't hear him gobbling does not mean he's not coming. He's moving, that's why he's not gobbling. He's coming to your location. He knows right where you are. Just sit tight, be patient. And you're going to get him. I promise you that. All right, everybody. So, hey, smash that like button for me, could you, before we go? So, and definitely click subscribe, click the notification bell so you'll be notified of all future episodes. And if you're not already subscribed, I greatly appreciate the extra support and follow, everybody. So smash that like button before you go. Greatly appreciate the extra support and follow. All right, everybody. See you next time.